When people hear leave the classroom, they often assume that it means abandoning education. But that's not what's happening at all. What's changing is where learning happens and who people trust to guide them. Families are looking for real world mentors, not just credentials, and adults are looking for coaches who understand both skill and survival in today's economy. So here's what I want you to understand. If your work has always been about helping people learn, grow, and move forward, that purpose doesn't just disappear because institutions are struggling. In fact, it may be more valuable than it's ever been. You just need to position it differently. Let me tell you about the moment that I learned this lesson the hard way. When I went to teach in Thailand, I went through an agency. I paid a couple $1,000s for their training program, expecting that they would actually advocate for me and help me to get placed where I wanted to be. I told them that I wanted to teach in Bangkok, not because I was being picky, but because as a Black woman traveling alone in a country I'd never been to, I wanted to be in a city with proper infrastructure, somewhere where I could get to an airport or U.S. embassy quickly if I needed to. Safety and diversity mattered to my well-being, but they told me that wouldn't be possible. They said that most schools wouldn't want me teaching their students because I was Black. They preferred white American teachers because it conveyed a certain status. They told me that I'd probably get paid less and that I'd end up in a remote district. And in that moment, I had to make a choice. I could accept their assessment of my value, or I could test it for myself. So I left. I got on a bus to Bangkok, checked into a hostel, and gave myself 2 weeks to get my own job. I looked up public schools and language centers from ESL teaching forums. And then I got an idea. I recorded a video cover letter. That way, schools could see my race, my gender, and how I spoke before they even met me. If they wanted to dismiss me because I was Black, they could do it up front. But if they contacted me, I'd know that they'd seen the value in my skills and my presentation. I sent that video to 3 different schools. 2 contacted me. I was hired within a week in Bangkok, exactly where I wanted to be by people who saw my value immediately. And that's taught me something that I'll never forget. Here are 3 key points that I learned from that experience. Point number 1. People will try to sell you your value if you undervalue yourself. If I had listened to what those trainers said at face value without testing it for myself, I would have ended up in a place far from my choosing in a less diverse area with lower pay. I chose to trust my smarts, my experience, and my courage to make a way out of no way. My safety and well being depended on it. So here's what I need you to hear. Don't let any person, institution, government, or sovereign nation determine your worth. You determine your worth. And if the system that you're in right now is telling you that your years of experience, your ability to connect with people, your problem solving skills don't matter unless they're packaged in a specific credential or role, that's not truth. That's gatekeeping, and you don't have to accept it. Point number 2. Lean on your strengths to overcome challenges. I understood that racism was going to come into play in the hiring process. No matter which country I lived in, whether in the US or elsewhere, it might always be a factor. I couldn't change people's perception of Black people as a group, but I could present myself as an individual in the best possible light and skip the middlemen. My profile photo and the training group I was in were the gatekeepers. They were going back and forth between the schools as my representatives. But how was I to know that they wouldn't bring their own biases into the negotiation? So I knew that my photo would be the bottleneck. I delivered my personality in video form because I don't mind being on camera. My personality would shine through enough for the schools to want to meet me in person. And here's what that means for you. If your strength is your ability to explain complex ideas simply, or for you to have patience with struggling learners, or your knack for making people feel seen, those are not just soft skills. Those are business assets. And in a world where people are tired of robotic corporate training or scripted courses, your personality is actually your competitive advantage. The question is, are you letting people experience it? Or are you hiding behind a resume that flattens you into bullet points? If you're feeling that pull to explore teaching beyond traditional classrooms, whether that's internationally, digitally, or in a completely different format, I offer strategy sessions where we map out what that could actually look like for you. Not someday, not when you have it all figured out, but right now, because the best time to start building is before you're desperate to leave. You can learn more about that on my website, and I'll put the link in the description below. Point number 3. Courage is the essential ingredient in all calculated risk. Many times you have to just do it afraid. That is what courage is, and it's not the same thing as confidence. Confidence comes only after successfully executing courage. A lot of people thought I was courageous or crazy for leaving a safe, wonderful job to fly to a country I'd never been to before in order to try teaching. But I wanted to challenge myself. And I definitely did, and I'm glad that I did it. I learned so much. That's how you grow. And now I have real world experience under my belt that will be invaluable to my clients, colleagues, and future students. I can help people transition into this world that we're going into because I've already done it on a smaller scale. I also learned from my mistakes, so I could see exactly what I would do differently and take better calculated risks next time. But if I didn't do it, even though I was afraid, then I would never know success. You've already taken the risk of following your purpose in teaching and leading others. Now it's time for your strength in leadership to take center stage, because the world needs it now more than ever. So if your work has always been about helping people understand, grow, and move forward, that purpose doesn't just disappear because institutions are struggling. But purpose alone doesn't pay the bills. Reach matters now too. In the next video, we're going to talk about why your knowledge deserves a bigger stage and why limiting yourself to teaching solely in the US might be the biggest missed opportunity of your career. We'll talk about international schools, vacation spots that could become home bases, and how to position yourself as a freelance EdTech consultant who builds curriculum for adult learners or corporate ESL programs. Because your message can't change lives if you don't have a larger audience. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jerusha, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.